Yeah, hi. So this is our second video. In the previous video, you might have come to know how to redeem the promo code after logging inside your lab environment. Now we are ready to do the first lab task. And these are the instructions, like this might be your landing page, and then you go to this next, and you will come to know what all other tracks are available. We'll be doing only one track. And this is our first lab activity. Prepare for deployment of Azure Virtual Desktop is our first lab activity. It might take almost 60 to 90 minutes to complete. And before we start with Azure Virtual Desktop deployment preparation, we need to first increase the number of vCPU quota associated to our Azure account. For that, we need to do the task 1 and task 2. Task 1 is to identify current CPU usage. Where do we do all these things? So first we need to log into Azure account. So what you can do, you can open Microsoft Edge. Here you can try portal.azure.com. And you have to sign in with the new Outlook account which you have opened. Mine is AZ140 Dhanabal @outlook.com. Next. No thanks. I need to key in the password and say sign in. If in case I forgot the password, I can go for forget password, or I have also registered my another email. I can even get the code to that email and give that code. But pass is straightforward. You can say not now and yes. So you're logging in Microsoft account inside this lab virtual machine. So previously we have done it outside. You can do it either way. So I just opened it here. Even you can also access your Azure account even here as well. Same thing. Instead of accessing, even we can access it here as well. This is also a virtual machine. We can access the same, both the same. If you go to your subscription, and if you check your subscription, you get one pass. And in this blade, click this particular link to get to know about the credit. Same data you'll be getting it here. Fine. So now we just logged in. Now what we need to do, we need to open Cloud Shell. For that, I'll click this link. If it is your first time, you need to select either PowerShell or Bash one. I'll go for PowerShell. And you can simply select your Azure Pass subscription and say apply. That's it. It will get ready our Cloud Shell environment where we can execute the necessary commands. So what are the commands we are going to execute? We will check whether we have compute and networking services or resource provider is enabled. If not, it will be enabled now. So there are two resource provider. One is compute and network has to be enabled. Let me run these two commands. Once this is done, you need to wait until both are getting registered. So for that, let me execute this command and wait for some time. It's saying registering. I need to wait until it is registered. Once it is registered, then I can continue with the next step. So till then, I'll wait for almost 20 to 30 seconds and then execute the same command again. If I press the up arrow key, I get the same command. And when I hit it enter, if it is registered, the Microsoft.compute, if it is registered, I'll be getting the state as registered. But right now, it is still registering. Let me wait for another 20 seconds. Instead of waiting for the 20 seconds, I can explain about this particular command. So we are setting some location, and I suggest you to use either Southeast Asia region for all your deployment or Central India region. Don't use East US because you may not be getting the proper CPU allocation from there. I'll just tell you, you can go with Southeast Asia region because that is very near to you. Okay, let me check once again. Hope it might be registered now. Yes, it is registered. So now let's go with the next command execution. I don't hit enter, but I give the location name. I'll say East. No, don't go for East. Go for Southeast Asia. And then execute the next command. What this command does is, currently what is our quota for D2SV3 family? How much CPU we can create under this particular family? That is what we are querying now. So right now the limit is 10, it's saying. It means in the Singapore region, for the family D2SV3 or DSV3, we can create only 10 CPUs. But that is not sufficient for our Azure Virtual Desktop. Sometimes we will be going and creating 6 or 7 session host. So when we have 7 session host into 2, so totally we need 14 to 15 CPUs. So we need to increase the count of this particular CPU. And how do we do so? I hope this we have executed. So how do we do so? That's what this particular command tells. And I'll tell you how we can do it. So open a new tab. You could do it even in the same tab, but I'll go with another tab. And in here, go to your subscription. On the subscription, select the only subscription you have. In here, if you want, you can minimize this. And if you go to settings, usage and quota, here you have to go for increasing the number of CPU what you can use. Right now the quota is 10, but we need to set it to 30. And that's what it is even given here. If you go to subscription, usage and quota, and then you have to search the region which you want. Let me go for Southeast Asia. Sorry, group by location. And then in here, you search for Southeast Asia. Group by location. Why is it showing only Australia Central for me? Okay, we go for group by no grouping. Fine. Now I'm getting only West US. It's so all. This is also so all. Okay, let me do one thing, only go for Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia and say apply. So now I'll be getting only the Southeast Asia region. So now here, let me search for D2SV3. DSV3. Yes. So DSV3. Right now we have only 10. If there is any into mark in front of this write up, then you can't do that. So, but here we can do it. So let me edit this quota. The new limit I need is 30 and say submit. It will be validating. So it might ask you to authenticate with multi-factor authentication. Let us authenticate it. So the code was sent to the recovery email. Let me select this email. Let me type the email ID. That was dhanabal2022@gmail.com. This is the alternative email ID I have given. I might have got an email with code. Let me get that code. 2394 and verify. Let me go to only Southeast Asia region, not all. Yeah, Southeast Asia. Apply. I search for DSV3 is 10. Let me edit now. Go for 30 and say submit. So now it is under process, our request. Without any issues, it will get processed. We don't need to worry about it. And that is what we have done in this. So we went to subscription, selected usage and quota, and then we were searching for DSV3 under our specific region. And then we set the new limit to 30. If in case if it is asking for authenticate with multi-factor authentication, you have to do so. And then once it is successfully enabled, we can see the number of CPU what I can use set to 30. Let us wait until it gets completed. And once it is done, then we can start with our exercises. And one more thing, see in this exercise, you'll be having Azure Bastion host. You don't need to create Azure Bastion host and for connecting to the VMs. If you avoid using Bastion host, you can save some credits. Just to save some credit, you can avoid using Bastion host. But if you want to create Bastion host and use, that's absolutely fine. You can create it and use it. So if you are not using Azure Bastion host, then you need to give the public IP, as well as you have to enable network security groups. All those things you have to do. That's totally up to you. If you are comfortable without Azure Bastion, you can go ahead and create it using without Bastion. But if you're not comfortable, then you can do every instructions step by step. So once this is done, then we can go to the next step. It's still processing. Let me wait for some time. Okay. It is successful. It means we received 20 extra out of 20. So totally we have new limit is 30. And that's it. So if you see here D2SV3 and you have got it. Simple. Now we are ready to do the first lab exercise 1, and that is deploy an Azure Active Directory Domain Services. This is ADDS we need to deploy. Okay, that we will do it in the next video.